Hi. So let's get real today, okay? Um, I've got my cigarette and I've got my big Mountain Dew um, from the gas station. So I'm being real healthy this morning. But anyway, I just wanted to make this video is probably going to be probably about 45 minutes long, depending on how long I ramble on. But I've just I've really been struggling this year, ever since this year started, I'm battling depression a little bit almost, and so I don't know. I feel like that I have this medium, I have this technology, I have this platform and music entity to express myself however I choose, and anybody that follows me knows that I make Johnny webcam videos. That's what these are called, usually to talk about my music and things on my mind or whatever. But this video is addressed towards my fans, mostly those of you that follow me through Reverb Nation, and to people that I personally know, I guess, and to God too. I was going to walk in the park today and have my little talk with God, but this will work. This will serve all those purposes. And I felt compelled to do it, so I am. I've been I'm pretty honest in regards to my musical content as far as lyrics and subject matter and whatnot. As far as in this day and age, as far as honest people go, I'm about as honest as you can get. It seems to be a rarity. It's not like I'm tooting my own horn or whatever. Oh my God, I'm so honest. But I am. And I have a genuine heart. It's bitchy sometimes, but there's a reason for that. There's lots of reasons for that. Probably, part of my makeup, probably to, things in the world and whatever. But I've been really struggling this year because, first of all, I haven't come right out and said it in interviews or articles or even in my music, but I've made many references to it in my music that I have HIV, okay? And I have had it since probably 2002, and I got diagnosed in 2005, and I took medicine over the course of 2 years, the first time, and then my life got all fucked up in Indianapolis is where I lived, where I moved to. I've lived there many, many times. But, life got fucked up, and I had emotional breakdown, and whatever, and so I quit taking the medicine. And then a couple of years went by, and then I went back to the doctor and got a medicine again. And then life took the same old turn and was like, well, so I stopped taking medicine again. Anyway, I moved back to my hometown, a small town in western Indiana, back in 2012, into my family home, which is this old, very old, almost 100-year-old house. It's beautiful that, I still have mixed feelings about sometimes because of the past and plus of the city it's in, the neighborhood it's in, whatever. And, but, I renovated this house actually. And I love this house, and it's always going to be the center of the world to me. But, through 2012 and 2013, I couldn't deal with going to doctors. I couldn't deal with any of that. So I just, I just kind of pressed my luck, I guess. And then in the summer of 2014, I got really, really sick with this type of pneumonia that's common with this stupid disease, and almost died. I was right on the edge. In fact, the doctors had later said that, they didn't think that I was going to make it, and, nobody really did. And it looked bad, and it was funny because at the time that was happening to me, I was more upset about the fact that my family and close friends were going to be upset about my death more than I was concerned for myself. Although I was like, I got really, really skinny, and I didn't even look like myself. It was bad. And I was like, the other thing was, it's like, I can't live as a sick person, that can't walk or function or whatever. I was just terrible. But, as much of the supernatural that I've experienced and, researched or studied and just watched or whatever, I expected a little more. I didn't get a visit from, any dead relatives or friends or whatever. But anyway, it didn't seem, other than those things I mentioned, other than that, it really wasn't that bad. It was like I was kind of ready to go anyway, and it was like, whatever. It didn't seem to have that much of a significant impact to me as compared to other, major things that had happened in my life before. But after, I did end up, making a miraculous recovery, and I survived. It took me about 6 months to recover, and I started taking medicine again, and I've been taking it ever since then, and, everything's under control, and it's undetectable. For any of you that know, what any of that means. And, I have an immune system that can fight shit off. I mean, do I look like a sick person other than my big old nasty bags that I always have? But no. But with all that being said, I got, after I started getting well again, is when I really started to create the entity of Johnsona. And I had done music, in all of 2013, and but I had such horrible equipment. It was terrible quality. It was under the name Bypass Ratio, and I had this really stupid YouTube show called the Janella Jessica Show, which really is kind of how that had a little music segment with this entity I created called the Anonymous Musician, or Anon for short. And I never planned on doing music ever. I'm a painter, but I realize I have many talents. I'm a writer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a painter, I'm a video maker, musician to a certain extent, and a vocalist and whatever, but lots of stuff. But that's how I got started with music. Was that musical part. The show sucked. It was bad. Had all these dolls and shit, and wrote these storylines, but I love the music part, and I've always known that music was in me. I love music anyway. It has nothing to do with me creating it. I always have. Couldn't live in a world without music. And so that's how it started. Plus, I decided, because our family home was just an absolute, complete, rundown, filthy, vilely filthy, and stinky, disgusting dump. I mean, we had close friends told me in private that they didn't even want to come inside the house because it was stunk so bad and it was so dirty. And and plus such a beautiful house. And we had, 2013 was a bad year for all of us anyway. We were struggling to even keep the house and to survive, but we did. And but I decided, we're not going to live like this anymore. And I had this new burst of energy, and I had this big, it was like, to go back in the past a little bit, I had worked in the restaurant industry, mostly as a server, but bartending and everything, for 23 years up to that point. And, I didn't have the worst upbringing or childhood in the world, but I was a gay man growing up in small town Indiana in the 1980s. And then I came out in the early 1990s where it was just starting to become a little bit more accepted in the world, and it was an amazing time to come out, and I feel lucky for that. But, and should I have, wished that I had maybe gone to school or gotten a degree in something and was able to make more money and, have a better life than I did. But I didn't. And I don't know, I'm talking to all you fellow artists out there, especially ones that have tried to make a living from it. It's very difficult to have a happy soul and work in a cubicle if you're an artist, or a fluorescent lighted cold building, and people stabbing you back to move up the corporate ladder or whatever. And it sounds like, oh, I'm lazy and I was making an excuse or whatever, but making excuses. I wasn't. I mean, I worked my ass off in the restaurant industry to try to take care of myself. And I fuck up a few times. Yes, pretty bad. And I was an emotional wreck. But, I think a lot of that had to do with being an artist and just dealing with, gay thing, whatever. And then, of course, worrying about getting the stupid disease. But it's like, well, I completely lost my train of thought. What was I talking about before? See, I had a lot on my mind. But it was, I didn't die, and I had this new lease on life, basically. And I ended up being on disability, don't that much, poverty level, but, I helped pay for, the family home and do all the maintenance of it now. But I renovated it all because we weren't going to live like we were anymore. And I did that, and that was a major thing. I was like, where did I get all this energy? It was like, but I did that. And then I really concentrated on my music through the entity of John Sona. And I was like, I had all this confidence. I was like, oh, you know what? I can make money from this. I can, do this on my own and whatever. Well, that didn't work out very well. And every other artistic thing I ever tried to do, I couldn't get support from anybody to make it a success, and didn't have enough money or know people in higher places that could, that's the way it's got to be for the most part, I think, to have, or sell your soul to a record company. But I'm also, I'm 43 years old, and I've aged pretty well as far as my face and my body, physical looks and stuff, I guess. But, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. And, my body physically is actually, I've got all these joint problems now and back problems and I'm in that aspect, I'm not aging very well. And do I need to start taking a little bit better care of myself as far as how I eat and not smoking cigarettes anymore and drinking big Mountain Dews? Yeah. But there that all is. Now, I've been making this music for let's see, 2015, for 2 years now, I have, let's see, 6 full digital albums. That's about 70 plus songs, and then I actually have 7 full albums because I'm getting ready to release one here in about a week, the Trollop album. So I have 7 full albums. I have about like 20 music videos, I think, and all of the stuff that goes, the photo shoots and the articles and, the lyrics and everything. It's a lot of work, and I use Mixcraft 7. I'm sorry, but Mixcraft 7 fucking sucks. It's very difficult. My computer here, it's like, so I do most everything through. I really wish I could have gotten a, MacBook Pro and GarageBand. I don't know if it's even really that much better. Probably is. But you really need a professional recording studio or even equipment, which is, as a lot of you probably know who are trying to doing music independently, is very expensive, and I just couldn't afford it. And I was hoping to have some sort of success, but I didn't. So I have to use this, and it's very difficult. And I've been beating the shit out of myself lately as an artist for this record coming up too. It's like, God, I wish I could make it sound better. I had a lot of sound editing issues with Trollop, but but I have to look at it the other way, and it's like, but look what my family's told me on the record release nights of listening to the records and watching the videos and stuff. My family, people I love, and they're like, but it's amazing what you do with the crappy equipment you have to work with. And I'm like, oh yeah, but so the renovating the house thing, the doing this music thing, and continuing on, even though I had absolutely no support, very little support, I should say, and no financial success whatsoever from it. Also, during those 2 years, it was like, people that I knew and people that a friend of mine's, young daughter, so many people died, and watching people I love get older, and my animals and getting older and stuff, it's depressing. State of the world, well, that goes without being said. Even before Trump was president, okay? The world's been fucked up now for quite a while. But I was like, drudged up this positive attitude, 80% of the time. And I was like, I'm going to die someday. We're all going to die someday. It's like, I want to try to make the best of everything that I can and the best out of life, and it's not all about money. It's not all about, it's like, it could be a Syrian refugee or a refugee anywhere, or I could be, a drug addict struggling, or a homeless person living on the street. It's like, I don't have the worst life in the world. I do. No matter how down I get, there's a part of me that's always set in stone that, is telling me, you're blessed in so many ways. You're luckier than so many people in this really fucked up world that we live in. And I never forget that. But with all of that being said, I've still been struggling this year. I'm just like, well, the thrill and that of not dying in 2014 is over for me. You know what I mean? It's just, and that happens with anything. It's kind of like the honeymoon's over. It's like, if you're in a relationship, it's like all that lust and love and whatever never is like that intense like it is in the beginning for your entire relationship. If you're together for 5, 10, 50 years, I mean, there's rare cases, I suppose, but it's kind of like that. And then it's like, just when I think that I've got so much figured out about this world and about this life and what life's all about and what my life's all about and the big picture, then it's like, I see things and they're happening in the world, and see how people are changing or this and that and the other. And it's like, fuck, I don't know any more than I did when I was an infant, when I was less than a year old. And I've dabbled in the quote-unquote conspiracy theory stuff, I guess, but it's like there's so many things, my music, but there's so many things. I was born a person that, even though an artist and I guess left brain, that also had very logical, side too of thinking. And it's like, so even though I have this little fantasy side and this emotional side, I also have this rather kind of cynical and, not scientific, but like more factual, not mathematic by any means, but, looking at things going, okay, why is this the way that it is? I used to do that more with, family dynamics, like with my grandmother and stuff, and and friends, good ones and ones that sucked back in the day, through all those years, and my relationship, one love of my life, and other ones that were terrible. But it's like, so when I look at these things, that have been going on in the world, I'm not even going to mention any of them. I mean, 9/11's a big one, but it's like, I look at it and it's like, and I see the points, of the alternative media people, and, and what they're saying, and then I look at it and it's like, okay, well, I'm going to look at this and use my own intelligence, which I'm pretty intelligent, and try to figure out, okay, what I'm seeing is telling my brain, oh, that doesn't seem legitimate, or that seems like it's contrived bullshit in some way, or that doesn't seem, that doesn't make sense. What, like mainstream media or like, a lot of things in government or whatever is trying to tell you. But, there's a big ball of everything. I mean, down to whether the earth is round or flat, and I'm not a flat earther, by the way. But, nobody really knows anything either. It's like, oh, science. Well, but it's kind of like, oh, the core of the earth, well, it's a big metal ball, and then, and then another little bit of core after that, and then the mantle and the crust and all that stuff or whatever. Yet we've never been more than what? Is it 7 or 8 miles? Maybe it's more than that now, but not very many miles down into under the ground anywhere on this planet. So, my point with that being, it kind of just goes for everything with me now in regards to things that are like, are obviously somehow, at least how it's being portrayed to us, is not what it seems. And so it's like, well, then how do I know anything that I've thought is the way it is per the big stuff, or even in my own personal realm is what it is after all these years that I thought I've learned so much, So I've been struggling with that. That's been making me kind of dark. And then it's like, well, okay, we're lied to about probably just about everything, and, indoctrinated from, kindergarten into creating a worldview that we're supposed to accept, and then anybody that doesn't accept it or questions it is, it's called names by people, which is like some of the comments and stuff and things I see and how people react to that is like, you'd see in a fucking elementary school. And, so it's like there's that. And the world does seem to be getting more fucked up. I was hoping maybe there was some minuscule of President Trump, just even saying that's weird, would have shed some truth on some things, but it's just, I think it's all bullshit. And, and the world does seem to be getting more and more fucked up. But how much more fucked up is it getting? Are we on the brink of financial collapse? Are we really, is the climate really on the verge of complete disaster? Or, obviously the climate has changed, and obviously, there are things that are, evidence of things not going well for the country or the world. But it's like, is it, how bad is it? Is it really that bad, or are we just being manipulated? So that just goes on, and it's like, and then that makes me so mad. It's like, well, and with all that being there, and it's obviously not going to change, and probably get worse, or just stay the same and get a little bit worse every year, whatever. It's like, well, okay, well then what am I supposed to do with the rest of my life then? Am I just supposed to say, well, let's hope that we can still get food, and that I'll still get, my medical coverage and whatever, and then, but just go on living and trying to figure things out? Or do I just go on living and stop trying to figure things out and just, go full, enjoy being with the people that I love and the animals that I love and a house that I love, while we're all still here together, and just concentrate solely on that? And do I keep making music, or do I stop because nobody listens to it? Or do I just paint, and do I just completely stop, expecting anybody to listen to my music or look at my paintings, or do I hire a management company to try to make a success because the clock is ticking? I don't know. I don't know what to do at this point. And it's like, so I have talks with God. It's like, you are there, right? You do exist, don't you? It's like, well, because I feel, my true gut feeling is that there is a light that would be considered God, I guess. And, that, because I felt it before. And, and it's like, I've experienced so many ghosts, be it with many people or by myself. I am not crazy. I'm not delusional. And I don't sit in a basement in my mommy's house wearing tinfoil hats, because that's just stupid. Okay? I hate that when people make that comparison to people that question anything, but I don't know. And also, with why I've been feeling like such crap this year, other than, physically, I feel, even though my disease is under control, it's like, my joints are fucked up all the time. Like I said, I'm constantly struggling with, the fatigue. And it's like, oh, well, you shouldn't smoke then. Well, no, I shouldn't. It's stupid. But it's like, is it that? And just, oh my God, maybe I eat too many cheeseburgers in a week and not enough vegetables. It's not like I eat like crap all the time. But is it that causing those things, or am I just getting old? And then it's like, well, and then I also, it's like, well, I've become kind of a hermit to a certain extent, because I generally just can't stand most people, and, but it's like, sometimes I feel like I've got to get out there and be around people more than I am, because getting your life experience other than being around, the people you live with, whatever, through these plastic devices is like, is not necessarily reality. And, but I live in my hometown, which is, there's full of a lot of good people and people I care about. And, there's some smart people, a lot of Midwestern attitude, but that's okay. But it's also full of crime and meth, and generally is a very depressing city. It always has been to a certain extent, but it's really bad now. And it's like, well, what do I do? I can't afford to even move back to Indianapolis or to live, in a bigger city, and I'm not even sure I could handle daily life in a big city. Maybe outside one. Maybe I could. I don't know. But it's like, okay, so there's that. So all of these things have been weighing on my head. Luckily, I do, even though I think that technology is destroying humanity, this computer, these cell phones, the internet to a certain extent has really divided people and has really changed things, mostly not for the better, in my opinion. But at the same time, I do have this medium and this technology to be able to express myself like this, or through my music, that before, computers and the internet and stuff existed. In order to do music like this, I mean, either you had to be in a band and work gigs and bars or whatever, or clubs, and then eventually maybe get discovered and then sell your soul to, a big record company. But now there's so many of us independent artists and music people that have this. We have to pay, our little fees for Reverb Nation and SoundCloud and Bandcamp and stuff, but that's nice. That part's nice. And with that being said, it's like, well, so I'm just, I'm glad that I am able to get out a lot of these things I've been talking about through my music, which I do. But I'm just wondering if anybody else just feels, especially, people in their 30s and 40s and 50s that have been through the 1970s and 1980s and 1990s and watched everything that's happened, since 9/11 and on through the 21st century up to the present. If you just you thought that you had so many things figured out, but just feel lost and are disgusted with people and with the world, and just frustrated and feeling kind of, who knows what environmental shit's going on that affects us too. But I don't know. I've walked in the park so many times, and I've had so many talks with God before, and it's like, well, just I begged for a sign of, tell me what it is I'm supposed to do in this life. And if I've done it, well, then give me that sign. If I'm never supposed to have any success, and I'm always supposed to struggle financially, then okay, then tell me what it is I need to do. Do I need to go, do charity work, or do I need to join a monastery, a convent, maybe? Do I need to, go work at McDonald's, or do I need to try to become a lawyer, or, or was I supposed to die? Maybe I'm not supposed to be alive. It's like, what? And I look, and maybe, but I'm not looking all the time because I'm busy doing stuff. But it's like, then I'm like, well, usually a lot of signs of things will come to you when you're not looking. Well, nope. It's just pretty much fucking crickets all the time. So that makes you wonder. It's like, well, maybe all of this is just bullshit. Maybe this, but there has to be more to life than just being some, random thing that happened, but, and I'm an artist, so yeah, I'm a sane person. I'm not crazy. I'm not stupid by any means, but I am an artist, so sometimes the wires get a little crossed up there. And, and it's like, as far as my music's concerned too, and my image that I portray, it's like, well, maybe people, nobody pays attention to it, or maybe people are put off by it because of my girly, androgynous type videos and image that I portray with makeup and fake eyelashes and lipstick or whatever a lot of times, but Prince did it. Michael Jackson's kind of a bad example. David Bowie wore fucking makeup and was weird, why would they so accepted in regards to that, but, but mine isn't, and that's why, because people are so fucking disgusting and ridiculous now. It's not that I'm afraid for people to comment on my videos on YouTube or whatever. I mean, there's other social media I have where people can leave comments and talk to me or whatever, but it's like, not on YouTube. Yikes. It ain't because I'm scared. It's because I just don't want that negativity on a platform that holds the art that I create. And those videos and stuff, it's like I have a vision in my head for a video, or a song or something, and I, just like I always did for paintings, and then I get that out through my body and the tools that I have, to make it a tangible thing that you can touch or hear. And, so, and I'm going to, just like any artist or any human being, we have the right to express ourselves any way that we please, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else, per se. But it's like, so that's why that's there. Did I go, oh, I mean, I knew I was probably shooting myself in the foot by not, maybe I should have had short hair and tried to butch it up a little or something and just sing about love or, sing about partying in a club. But it's like, no, that's not what I wanted to do. It wasn't my vision. But I don't know. And it's like, I sure get frustrated, though, if nobody listens to my shit. Boy, I would like some way, even if it isn't my music, something. So, it's like, maybe I should try to hire a management company. I don't know, but maybe none of that matters, because it's like, well, maybe I'm just supposed to sit on a bed and stare at a wall. Anyway, I've rambled on for about 37 minutes now, but I just had to get this out of me, and, because I'm really, really trying, the whole main thing, the point of this video was, to say that I've been struggling in my head, in my heart, my soul this year, really bad, ever since after New Year's, and I'm working it out and trying to figure out why. And a lot of these things that I talked about in this video are it. I mean, there's other stuff too. Worrying about, how we're going to make sure that we're going to be able to pay the mortgage, electricity bill. And I mean, it's like, I keep my emotions in check, and I try not to go around like a raving lunatic or like going, whoa, because I don't want to ruin everybody's life and make everybody miserable, because we're all trying so hard. And but it's like every little thing like that is just like, where's the happiness? Okay, yes, my parents still being alive and getting to see my mother every day, and getting to see my animals and our animals, even though some of them are getting old and it's depressing, but that's part of life. But and not having to live in a dumpster and living in a beautiful house that I made beautiful again, and all that stuff, yes. But, and I don't ask for that much out of this life, I don't think. I really don't think I ever did. But, it's like, where's the happiness? If it's not, it would be so nice to be able to somehow, without stealing it, having enough money, not have to be fucking billionaire or anything, but have enough money to not have to worry constantly about everything in regards to money. But it isn't all about that. It's like, okay, well, if there's always going to be money struggles, money is not everything. Well, then, what else? It's like, a relationship. It's like, well, clearly that was never supposed to work out, and is, and that's fine. Whatever. It was too much work anyway. Would I invite love again? Yeah. But it doesn't have to necessarily be that, but it's like something happy, really happy, or just something great. You know what I mean? Just a little bit. Maybe, Anyway, so yeah, that's about it. As far as my music is concerned, I had a lot more sound editing issues than I thought I was going to have with this new album, but it's pretty much done. I'm not doing anything else more to it, because if I do anything else to it, I'm going to fuck it up. So it's done. It's already uploaded to Bandcamp, and it will be to SoundCloud after today, and it will be released on April the 1st, which means probably the night before that, like around midnight or whatever. But it will be out on April 1st, so check that out. And I've finally picked the 3 songs I want to do videos for. I was going to do a promo video, then I wasn't going to do one, then I was. Well, now I've decided, no, I'm not going to. I'm just going to do videos for 3 of the songs. And then once that's done, and during making all of that, which would be through the course of April, the entire month, I'm also working on my 8th, and probably actually the last one for quite a while. My last full album is called Operatic Nature Diva. It's more of a flowy dance kind of record, and so I'm having sound editing issues with that too, because I don't have a, $10, $15, $20,000 recording studio. So, but that will be out this summer. And other than that, I'm just going to keep pushing through, and I'm going to keep, struggling to keep some sort of positive attitude inside myself, and try to keep my health in check and all that stuff, and just keep living until I die, I guess, because what other choice is there? What else is there to do? I could completely self-destruct, and which I've done in the past, and I don't think I want to do that. So, keep on living, I guess. But I'm gonna post. I don't usually post these Johnny webcam videos to Reverb Nation, but I am gonna put this one on there because that seems to be where I get the most action, the most response in regards to anything. Because I certainly don't. These videos usually have like 3 views. Usually 2 of them are for me to make sure that that it uploaded correctly. But you can leave comments and whatever through Reverb Nation, and or even on Facebook, John Sona's Facebook page. You can go to johnsonacenter.blogspot.com, or go to my website, www.ijohnsona.com, to link to everything that has to do with my music entity. But yeah, if you want to just be like, if any of you people that are gonna be like, oh my God, you're such a whiny bitchy faggot, or you deserve God's punishment, your diseases for your sins or something, well, just go take flying fuck off a cliff somewhere. But if you're a legitimate, smart, or just stupid even, but a decent person, and especially and especially if you're a struggling artist, and or struggling with your view of life and the way in the world right now and stuff, well, just leave me a message, or send me a message in the comments or whatever through Reverb Nation or Facebook if you want to, or not. That's fine too. I'm still gonna keep going, whether I'm ignored or not. So not even that's the biggest thing. But anyway, that's all. And so as I always say, try to stay sane and try not to kill each other, and we'll just keep going in this life, right? Until we can't go no more. And I'm going to keep trying to embrace the fuck and then move the fuck forward. So, that's all. I sure rambled this time, didn't I? Oh, well. Like I said, this was addressed to, pretty much people that know me, and then also people that are my fans and follow me. So that's all. 45 minutes, not too bad. Okay, bye-bye.